All right, we got another episode of Intellectual Dummies, and today we're just going to be answering some questions, some random questions. We got a bunch of books here.
If I may interrupt, I wouldn't even do that.
He's interrupting the fucking intro.
I would.
We got another episode. See, you fucked me up. I should have just went with the first one.
No, the first one was bad. The first one was bad.
Episode of Intellectual Dummies. We got another Book of Questions episode here, and we got a bunch of books, and we're gonna go around the circle, and we're gonna get deep, and hopefully you'll laugh, hopefully you'll cry. We'll see what's up. So
mostly cry. We want you all to cry.
Yeah, we want so I'll go first. I'm just gonna open up to a random one. All right. Would you be willing to go to a slaughterhouse and kill a cow?
No.
Probably not. I mean,
no, why not? You were pretty.
Because that's just not me. The same reason why I really don't want to hunt. I couldn't kill a deer or something like that.
Yeah, I agree.
I definitely would.
Yeah, and then you'd cry and be haunted for the rest of your fucking life.
And then the next question is, do you eat meat? Do you still eat meat, or are you still on your...
No, I still... I for the most part, eat meat. Yeah. I do both.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a non-practicing vegetarian.
Man, I have not heard that joke before, Lucas. What a zinger. But no, I don't. I wouldn't have it in me to just even walk into a slaughterhouse. I don't want to see those tormented animals. I don't want to.
Yeah, are they? I mean, a slaughterhouse.
Yeah,
I guess those
animals know what's coming. They're seeing what's going on, and they know what's coming. It'd be like if we were all in a slaughterhouse and they took you away and shot a fucking thing through your head, and you were screaming the whole time. And then we saw your like dead body go by on a fucking conveyor. We'd be like, oh, I guess we're all fucked, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen videos of slaughterhouses. So I don't know
dude. Everyone's lined up and they take them one by one and kill them. I mean, it doesn't take these animals, long to realize what's happening to them. You know.
Yeah, I'm okay with it though.
Yeah, I eat meat, so like I'm not saying it like friggin' I'm against it happening. I just don't. I'm not going in there.
Yeah, I mean, would you be willing to go?
Yeah, willing. That means like, yeah, I'll do it.
I guess I wouldn't be like, yeah, let's fucking do it. But like, if someone was like, hey, do you wanna do this? I'd at least check it out. I wouldn't. You know, I'm sure they'd show you how to do it first.
You don't know how they kill the cows?
Well, I know how they do it, but I'm sure they'd at least give you a quick tutorial before they just handed you the fucking...
Yeah, what you do is you stick it here at their head. Yeah, but that's what it is. You put it up to a temple, and then they die immediately. Yeah. And you take
that must be rough to watch.
I would never want to watch it.
Yeah. So...
Hold on. I got to expand on that for a second.
Sure.
Would you watch an execution of a death row inmate?
No, I don't like any of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I don't like... sometimes, like, I'll see a death video that I wasn't expecting it to be a death, but you go, he's got to be dead.
Yeah, right.
Stuff like that where or if somebody's being stupid and they die, it's like, okay, but I don't like any type of execution, any type of even accidental, like seeing somebody, like, an explosion and somebody getting fucked up, like, that to me is all just negative karma. And intaking that will just fuck up you, you know?
Your psyche.
Yeah, your spirit. Yeah. So, like, accidental stuff. Like, I saw one where a guy stood too close to a train, and whatever was sticking out the side of that train hit him in his head, and he fell. And when you saw him fall, you knew he was dead.
Yeah.
That didn't affect me, because I was like, that guy was an idiot anyway.
Right.
But I did see one where, like, a car blew up, and a guy was on fire, and he, like, ran. and that was rough. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't ever want to see anything like that
Yeah,
again.
I think we all got that one video that's like
Oh, yeah.
stuck in our
Oh,
head.
dude,
We're like,
yeah.
I shouldn't.
How about when we were
watch that.
when we were kids? Bud Dwyer shooting himself. You ever see that one?
Yeah, I did.
That to me was one of the first ones.
That was the first one I ever saw.
Yeah.
I downloaded it on LimeWire.
I did too.
Yeah,
I did
yeah,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking. Those are the things where I say like, you kind of just grow up a little.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh shit! Like you
Yeah.
see a dead body, and you just kind of grow up a little. Like
Yeah,
like
no, that's true.
Yeah, like even I can't even subscribe to like Nature is Metal. Like I don't want to see any of that.
I watch that stuff.
I used to, but then sometimes it's like, okay, this is a little too much. Like, do I need to see this? Like, I don't need to see
Yeah.
animals being torn apart or like, fuck, I don't know, man.
Now, I watched this one video. This video stuck with me because I've been studying religion a lot lately, and some of the things that religious people bring up, what separates us from animals, is like our compassion and stuff like that, right? But I saw this one video of this family of elk or whatever, deer, whatever, crossing a river. And of course, there's like 400 crocodiles chasing after them, trying to go across as fast as they could. And the mom, or the parent, stopped in the middle of the river just so that her children could get across.
That's awful.
And I was like, wow, man, if that's not compassion, I don't know what is, man.
Yeah.
Like, are we really that much different?
No, we're
like,
not.
I know we're different, but, you know,
I mean, we're animals
That's
too.
crazy.
Let's get down to the
Yeah, we're
basics.
animals
We are
too, yeah.
animals,
I
You
know.
know what I
Yeah.
mean?
God did make us like the animals. When he
Yeah.
cursed us, he said, you're going to be like the animals.
yeah.
Because before, we were just like these fucking glowing things. We didn't have
Yeah.
these bodies.
Now, to expand on what you asked, you said, would you ever watch an execution? I'll take that a step further. Would you ever watch an execution of someone that we all collectively hated? Like, for instance, a pedophile or a murderer
Boston
or a
bomber,
rapist,
maybe.
a Boston
No,
bomber,
I
a
don't wanna
terrorist, Osama bin Laden.
No,
Right.
I don't want to see anything like that.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you where.
Unless
mine-
Osama was running and a soldier shot him, I go, yeah. But, like, I don't want to see anybody getting hung and struggling. I don't want to see, like, anything like that. That's all negative karma, in my opinion.
my line would be if it was somebody that did something to my family.
Yeah, okay.
If for example something happened to my son at the hands of some dirtbag,
Yeah.
Of course.
I'd be asking to either push the buttons or
Yeah.
drop the floor or flip the switch,
Yeah.
and I'd enjoy every last second of it. To be
Yeah.
honest, I'm being honest, but that's kind of my line too. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean? I don't know, like the Boston bomber who is Tsarnaev, whatever the hell, who cares about his name? I don't know if I'd like watch that if they eventually put him
Yeah.
to death. I don't know if I'd,
Well, knowing that if they put somebody to death, knowing that I feel is enough.
I agree.
Why do we have to watch it too?
Right.
Like unless like in your case, of course something
Right.
happens to your fucking kid.
Yeah.
Or even like something happens to my mom. Somebody kills my mom.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
of course.
You know, but like other than that, I mean, do we have to watch it?
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
you think about, like, most of human history
They did.
is watching that.
It really is. Yeah, stoning,
I
hangings,
dude, I have a book.
beheadings.
I have a book called "Last Words of the Executed," and it's all the last words of people who were executed throughout time.
Yeah.
And I mean, just in Massachusetts alone, all the people they hung in front of the town for being witches and shit.
Yeah, the witch trials.
Yeah, it's fucking wild, and people would like cheer and shit.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, even back to what, the English days, that when the English were super brutal and doing the beheadings and all, it was like a family event.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody would get to
Stonings too,
stonings,
yeah.
yeah,
Stonings,
stonings, and
Yeah.
so I wonder
Fire
where it is
response.
that changed. I don't know, the morality of that changed at some point, but I'm with you. I wouldn't be looking to find those videos
Yeah.
or to watch that kind of thing again.
I probably, depending on the person, like Boston Bomber, I would watch that.
Yeah.
Why?
I would 100% watch
You'd watch him what? Get the chair?
something like that, yeah. Hung, whatever. I'd watch it. But it would have to be somebody like, again, that we all collectively don't like. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't just watch, like, all this. I mean, granted, these videos are on Instagram and stuff all the time of just like, guy gets hit by a car and he fucking does a somersault
Right,
and fucking hits
right.
a wall. And you're like, I don't want to see that shit.
Right.
You know, if I
right.
may say, and I'm not trying to change the subject, but I really only see those videos on Facebook. Like,
yeah.
in the last, like, I'm not lying, the last 6 months, I talk about Facebook like as if it's an entity that wants us to, like, feel and interact. because that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
I have Instagram and I have Facebook and I have YouTube, and nothing gets me caught up more than Facebook videos do. It's fucking weird. I don't know, but Facebook's just different.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to change the subject, but like I see more death on Facebook than anything.
Yeah, I see it probably on both.
Instagram too?
Yeah,
Really?
Instagram probably more if I were to choose. But I actually had a friend who was sending me all these videos of like cartels like cutting people's heads off.
I wouldn't
and shit.
I wouldn't
And
like
I
that
told
at all.
him, and then cause I know he's afraid of spiders. I won't mention his name. But I know he's afraid of spiders, so I texted him and I'm like, hey, if you keep sending me these videos, I'm gonna start sending you spider videos.
Yeah.
And he goes, sorry man, I didn't know it affected you like that.
He's not afraid of spiders, huh? Holy Jesus. That's
awesome.
hilarious.
So,
That's hilarious.
That was wicked funny, but even like so, Dan Carlin. I mention Dan Carlin all the time. He has a good podcast. It's called Painfotainment, Entertainment of Pain, and it's a history of like coliseums all across the world, where people would just watch people get eaten by tigers and fight, and it's.
But weren't they
torture.
mostly like slaves from other armies that they fucking
Yes,
fucked
yeah,
up?
A lot of
exactly.
times,
They
yeah,
were
yeah.
slaves or prisoners or stuff like that, and it got to the point where the people in the crowd were starting to like, what's the word? Not worship, but they'd start being like almost like rooting for the guy a little bit,
Right.
The
Right.
guy that was getting tortured.
Right.
They'd all start praying for him and stuff like that.
Right.
It became like a spectacle.
Sure. Yeah.
And because back then the rule of thumb was your torture and your pain for what you did was what you paid to get into heaven. So now, after a while, people were like, well, I want to fucking go up there. And they're like, wait a minute, this is going to become a problem. You know?
Right.
But we won't get. But a good book that I got out of that was called The Faithful Executioner, and he was an executioner, and he was the only executioner that just kept a diary,
Yeah.
and it's fucking wicked good. Definitely
wow.
recommend.
There
I'll
was a
check that
book
out.
too, of the executioner, the Nuremberg trials after World War II, and the Germans that were put to death. There was mainly one guy that was responsible for all of those executions of the SS.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he put out some stuff too, but he absolutely loved it. He talks about
Wow.
how much he loved killing those guys.
Wow.
Some people are like that.
Well, I mean, just as an interesting side point, right? It's like he's killing the people responsible for killing and torturing millions,
Yeah.
or whatever, and like he got a great joy out of it.
Yeah,
Really
doing the
being,
world a favor.
yeah, right, exactly. I
Or
forget
maybe
his name,
or maybe
but-
he got a joy out of that power too, though.
Well, I'm sure to
Yeah,
some
I'm sure
extent.
that played a part. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But all right, you want to take it away?
Oh, that was good. That was a good one for that one question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was. All right, I'm gonna flip through here.
So that's a no on the slaughterhouse for me, just for the record.
Yeah, no. Also, no on the slaughterhouse. Yes on killing the SS.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm just trying to find something that's not too ridiculous here.
Oh, I'm just going by the first one.
Oh, you're crazy. All right. This is I guess a more feel-good question than the last one. What makes you feel the most proud about yourself?
I would say just accomplishing my goals. You know, I have a set of goals. Every year I have a set of goals, or I put a time frame on it. And even if I don't accomplish all of them, I get like 90% of them done.
Is there one goal in particular that made you?
Probably getting a multifamily.
Yeah.
Something I've been talking about since I was in my early 20s. But yeah, so that's me. What about you, Paul?
I guess for me it would just have to be if I could name something quick, and I know none of these people are going to hear this, but I get proud of myself when I see a lot of my friends from the old school and how they turned out. And I could have turned out that way too.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I could probably put myself in that same boat to a degree. I know you hate all my friends.
Well, I haven't seen them in a very long
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Who knows?
but-
Everyone can change.
But yeah, I mean, I would say at least half of them develop some type of substance abuse problem.
Mine too, yeah.
And it's like, hey man, if you know my life went a slightly different way, I totally could have been that guy too.
Yeah.
Totally could have been that guy too, you know.
Yeah, anybody like could have,
What about you?
We won't get too deep into it. You know a lot of my backstory. To say something, I guess it's, making it to the age I have, having a son, and taking really good care of him, and not being dead, because by all rights, with what I went through in my younger years, I should be.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of myself for that. You and me work together. We have a great career in front of us.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of that.
Yeah.
I really am, because I mean, honestly, I'm not exaggerating. He knows that. I really shouldn't even be alive right now. And the fact that I am, I'm damn proud of that. And I have a great kid, and
Not only that, we've climbed the ladder to the top of our industry.
we have.
At least as far as our private companies go.
Yes.
We're in the top. We're top dollar now, which is fucking
100%.
something I'm definitely proud of.
Yeah.
I never thought that I would stop smoking pot and become a truck driver, but
You're going to spend 5 minutes of every day for the next year doing something you currently don't do. What do you choose? Oh, I do 5-minute planks. I've been thinking about starting to do those for fucking months, and I just procrastinate.
just 5 minutes. I'll go with foreign language. Trying to learn in a foreign language.
Sure.
Hopefully I'd do it for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, but 5 minutes a day, at least you're putting something to it.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause I've been doing the Spanish thing. We kind of tapped the Spanish thing
Yeah,
for the book
a little
club
bit.
for maybe about a day.
Yeah. That was about a day. Yeah.
But no, I would do something like that. Maybe just finish up with the Spanish and maybe just move on to it. I'm gonna start doing that,
I would say
which is probably a lie.
When
but-
it comes to the United States, the most important foreign languages you should learn are Spanish and Portuguese.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think so.
I would say so.
I think
I'd say
so.
Portuguese is definitely number 2.
Yeah.
And well, in this area,
Yeah.
I would say as far as our whole country, Spanish. As far as the Northeast, definitely Portuguese. A lot of Portuguese.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Shit. I don't know if I have a good answer for that off the top of my head.
Really? 5 minutes?
5 minutes. I'll say exercise in general. How about that? I would say that.
If you had 5 minutes?
Yeah, I would do that more.
A 5-minute plank would be enough. I mean, it's not like enough exercise, but a 5-minute plank's killer. Like, I
Yeah.
couldn't even do a 5-minute plank right now.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
a lot.
I would have to build to it.
Yeah, you could probably only do maybe about.
Oh, I would start in like 30 seconds and see
Yeah.
what I can do, and then if I could, I'd start with a minute.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I think exercise in general would be good.
Yeah, because I would do planks on one side, 30 seconds on one side, 30 seconds on the other, and then 2, and that kills you.
Oh yeah.
That kills you. But all right.
All right, sweet. See, my question was easy.
All
That was easy. That was bang bang right there.
All right. Okay, this is a two-parter.
Oh, good. 2-parters.
Would you be willing to eat a bowl of live crickets for $5,000?
Is this the first part?
Yeah.
Yes.
Live crickets, I'd definitely give it a try.
Why not?
Okay.
How big of a bowl? We're talking like a mixing bowl or like a cereal
What are we
bowl?
talking about?
Let's do a cereal
Cereal
bowl.
bowl? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
5 Gs.
What's the least amount of money?
Probably the 5Gs.
Yeah, yeah, 5 sounds good. 5 sounds
Let
good.
me think. I'd probably do it for a G. No, 2 Gs.
3.
I would say 3. 3
Okay.
is probably like all right.
Yeah, 3's a difference maker.
Yeah.
Right?
3 is like
Yeah.
exactly.
You
Because
got
like
3
2
grand.
Gs is like all right. That's like
Yeah.
maybe a week's worth of work, 2 weeks worth of work.
I'm sticking with the 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. 3, because like I said, I would give it a try, so 3 would be tempting.
Now, what's the most messed up thing you've ever eaten?
The most messed up thing I've ever eaten.
Well, let's call it unique thing you've ever eaten.
Well, I guess one time I ate a live fish.
Oh wow.
I swallowed it whole. I was shit-faced, and this was like 2 weeks after Jackass came out.
Whose fish was it?
My buddy Ralph Brand, fucking
Oh, man.
one of my friends from the
Oh,
old
so
school.
it was like a pet fish?
Oh, dude.
Oh, you sick
okay?
bastard.
So we're in his bedroom, just drinking like liquor out of the bottle, right?
Yeah.
His mom doesn't even know we're drinking. we're watching Jackass, right? The thing where Steve-O swallows the fish and pukes it up.
Yeah.
Ralph leaves the room for whatever reason, and I go, I think I can do that. And my buddy Preston was like, do it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. So I grabbed this fish and I swallowed it. And then I went to stick my fingers down my throat and I went, I'm not going to make myself puke. I can't do it. And then he was like, dude, what are you going to do? I was like, I'll just tell him. I was like, but I'm not going to make myself puke.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to do it. I was like, I can't do that. I'm not going to make myself
Dude, what if
puke.
you got like a crazy disease from that?
Well, here I stand.
Yeah.
You know? but I've also tried some fucked up... I've also gotten fucked up food in North Quincy, like fucked up Chinese food. That was like, what am I eating right now?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like there were plates I didn't finish when I went out to some of these places, yeah.
What about you?
Fucked up foods? I don't know.
Yeah, or like unique animal.
Oh, Luke gave me terribly cooked alligator one time.
I did.
Well, I've had delicious alligator.
Yeah, he gave me rough
Yeah.
alligator.
Alligator's good. I like
Alligator is good,
It
yeah.
really is. I don't know. Maybe that. I don't know. Sushi. I've had escargot, which is snails. I mean, nothing really too outside the realm of what a lot of people would eat. I think. Right.
I mean, those are all like delicacies to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Have you ever tried? Like, I've tried that cube of like pig's blood. You ever try that?
Oh no, but I want to make like
It's just
you,
like
you see that at Cam Man.
It's just gross gelatin.
Yeah.
It's like having a gross gelatin cube in
Yeah,
your mouth.
yeah.
You just swallow it.
I didn't
you know?
try it, but I used to date a girl who was 100% Irish that was trying to get it for me to try, and she would talk about it all
Really?
the time.
Wow,
Yeah,
what is it? An
yeah.
Irish food?
Oh yeah, it's a. It's
Oh,
a
see, for
Irish
me,
food.
it's from Asian food.
Oh no, she talked about it from
Yeah,
her
for me,
culture.
when I used to train with these Koreans,
Oh,
we'd
no
go to
kidding.
those places, and that would be like a digestif they'd give you.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she talked. Well, like haggis is Scottish, right? And haggis. Oh, sorry, haggis, not haggis. Haggis, which is what?
Scottish.
Yeah, it's Scottish, but it's heart and liver wrapped in sheep's intestine.
Ugh,
You know what
Wow.
I mean? Yeah. So.
that's disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine getting that like in the bag. Like, I don't want
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
that's insane.
What about you? You've cooked a lot of fucked up shit.
Yeah, so I mean, shit, man. Alligator, camel, turtle.
Oh, never had camel.
Yeah, camel's real good.
Have you had? I've had ostrich.
I've had ostrich meat.
Yeah.
I haven't had eggs, but I've had
I've had
ostrich meat. Very
and
gamey.
eggs. Yeah.
Rabbit, that's not too crazy.
I don't like rabbit.
I love rabbit.
Yeah.
Really, I don't think
Oh,
there's.
man.
I don't think there's enough. And duck too. I don't think there's enough meat on the bone.
You know what? A duck, like when you buy like a duck body, there definitely isn't. Because I made a duck for Thanksgiving one year, and like I think I ate the whole thing by myself.
Yeah, no, I went out to one restaurant one time in Cambridge and ordered the duck. It was like duck with like this purple sauce. It was very good, but there was just not enough meat on that bone. I was like, this is freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
But I'll tell this story for the podcast. I think you both have heard it before, but I just want it to be documented. So for my birthday, I have a big cookout every year. And I went up to this place in New Hampshire called the Healthy Buffalo, and I bought 13 pounds of camel meat. And I seasoned it up and made little patties. I even put the patties in the little styrofoam things you buy at the store, so nobody would think that everyone thought that it came from the store. And I fed, how many people were there? Like 30 people? Fed 30 people fucking camel burgers. Didn't tell a fucking soul.
There were 31 people there, and he fed 30. He didn't feed me. Because the whole day I was going, you guys are going to trust him? He had already, you had already had a history of feeding people like endangered species. No, you did.
Here's an emperor
He
penguin
was
stew.
he was like dating a Hindu girl and snuck her turtle. I was like, that could be against her religion for all you fucking know.
Wow.
I,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
fed her, I think like
Turtle.
rabbit stew or something.
I thought it was turtle stew.
No, I forget what it was.
But so yeah, well, come to that cookout, I was like, I was eating chips, and then I heard after, oh, Luke fed everyone camel. I'm like, I told you guys not to eat those
Yeah,
burgers.
and he started crying.
Yeah, the girls were like, what do you mean we ate a camel? Yeah, that was kind of like traumatizing for them. Yeah, because I remember Katie complaining about it after.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
was
because
funny.
I had left when your dog attacked that woman.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
It was a chaotic scene. It's a chaotic scene.
That's hilarious.
Oh man, yeah, that was we
Yeah,
won't get into that
yeah.
story.
Ramsey really switched the vibe of the fucking.
No, he definitely did. Like, hey, just so everyone knows, you ate camel.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. There's a woman.
Yeah. Well, what about that woman over there? Like, nobody even cared. They had to let it settle in.
But okay, all right.
I think it's your turn, right? Oh no.
No, I did the crickets, and the lowest I take is 3 G's.
Oh yeah, 3 G's.
Crickets.
Yeah, sure. 3 G's. Cash.
I almost paid a guy at a pet store one time $20 because Mandy has frogs, and she was getting some crickets, and the guy was getting them. I go, dude, $20, fucking eat a couple right now. And he's like, no. And I'm like, come on, $20.
No, you say you go it's a delicacy in Italy.
Yeah.
And he'll go,
Well,
give us the fucking.
Yeah.
I paid a guy one time $60 to snort a line of cayenne pepper.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was fucking wild. And I mean, this was I videotaped it on a flip phone, but this was back when I was in the Millwright Union. It was the end of the day, and this guy he was a Jehovah's Witness.
Oh my goodness.
And he didn't snort it, no. But he brought in homemade cayenne pepper, and he was giving it to like one of the other guys. And somebody brought it up at the end of the day. You know how you just sit in the trail until the buzzer goes off, and somebody said how much to snort a line of that, and this kid Mario, he was like in his early 20s. He's like, oh, I'll do that, blah blah blah. And the guy goes like, yeah, I'll give you $60. And I was like, yo, I'll throw 60 on top of that. I was like, you gotta let me make the line though. And he's like, yeah, okay. So I made like a fatty. Like I used to snort ecstasy. Like I know what to fucking make, right? So and then the guy who first threw the money down went, you know what? I don't want to do this, right? And there's like 8 people in this trailer, and I went, my 60's still on the fucking table, and the kid fucking did it, and I recorded it, and he snorted the whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was just a whole trailer full of guys being like, "Oh my god!"
That's
I gave him the money, but he took it like a champ. Mario Colecchio was his name, and he'll live in history for that.
Wow.
He's on the podcast.
He's out there somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah, that was when I was working on Deer Island. Like we would have it'd be a group of like guys in a room like this, like where we would like suit up and not get our shit at the end of the day. So like those 30, 40 minutes we were all together was just ball busting and daring people to do stupid shit. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it was like a trailer. It was like if you didn't survive, if you couldn't take the ball busting, you wouldn't survive.
We had a little history of that back in landscaping, especially when I did that many moons ago. And one day I convinced a kid somehow, and I almost feel bad. I don't know. But I somehow convinced this kid that black mulch was absolutely delicious, and how I said to him, he was brand new to the whole industry, and I'm like, well, you've had black mulch before, right? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you've tried it, right? It's unbelievably good. And this fucking kid legitimately put it in his mouth, and I'm like, oh, dude, do you even realize the chemicals you just put in your mouth?
That's
like,
awful.
Get that out. I'm a terrible person. I realize that, and I'm sorry to that kid now. I hope he's still
that's disgusting.
okay. But
that's disgusting.
I
Black
somehow
mulch.
convinced them to fucking eat it, and I don't know how.
No, I worked at Lowe's for a little while. You can't even get too close to that. Even smelling it's strong.
Oh yeah, no, it's terrible.
Yeah.
But,
Shit.
all right, so my question that I found in here, a little change of pace, and I'm gonna guess sniffing cayenne pepper is not gonna be among the answers. What makes a good leader? And you and me hit that book. It was the first book we ever did in the book club, but whoever wants to answer that one first.
I would just say someone who is, if we're talking about in a business setting or something along those lines, someone who's really just not there to make friends, and is assertive, but can still kind of walk that line though. You know what I'm saying? Of being cool, but being assertive, and you'll eventually get to a spot where it's your employees won't want to pull a fast one on you or scam you or steal, because it's listen, this dude's cool. Because, I'm sure we've all worked at places where it's fuck this manager, dude. I'm not cleaning that up, or I'm not, you know what I'm saying? So I would say that those characteristics, at least to start.
To be a manager, you have to be a good leader.
Yeah.
All the bad ones aren't. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
I've seen it throughout my whole life. Everyone who wasn't a good manager was not a good leader.
Yeah. No, for me, I think, like you said, a certain level of assertiveness, but also too. I mean, I don't. This is my own personal thing because I've been a manager type person or foreman in a lot of different companies and situations. It's not just the ability to lead by example. Like, for example, if it's a ball busting kind of industry, you got to be out there busting your balls, or else who's going to respect you? You know, so
Yeah.
you can't always just be pointing the finger. You hear, you hear. You have to be the one that's willing
Oh, of course.
to show them how it's done by example. I think is one aspect of it, and you also have to be accountable. You know what I mean? I think that's what makes really shitty leaders is when they're not accountable for their own screw ups and they're constantly passing the buck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So being accountable, being somebody that can lead by example, I think that's leadership material. You know,
Yeah,
personally.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and somebody, and I'm glad I get to use the Bible as a reference for this, but somebody who stands up for the people. Because
100%.
if you go to David and Goliath, that was during King Saul, and Goliath was like, who's ready to fucking, let's see who's the best here, and King Saul cowered, and it was David who stood up to him, and he
Yeah.
immediately became a leader of the people.
Right.
You
right.
know? Like, they immediately started worshiping him, then he had to go on the run because that king wanted to kill him, you know? Yeah, you know that story, right?
I do.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
do.
But yeah, no, but he immediately, because he stood up to fucking Goliath and
Right.
killed him, you know?
Right.
He immediately became their leader. And that's what you need too. You know, and people need to see that. Like when I was the delivery manager, I always made sure at the meetings that like I was talking on behalf of the drivers. You know what I'm saying? Like even though it was like me and the manager sitting here facing a bunch of people, like I was always bringing up like the issues that the drivers were having.
Right.
Like I was always that voice, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Also, too, I think sometimes it comes down to falling on the sword, and I'll give you an example. There were times where people underneath me might screw something up, and I would often say to those on top of my position, "Oh, I did that," because I could take the hit better than they could. Like in other words, if I make that mistake, the person above me might be like, what the fuck, you should know better. But if they realize that it's the lower guy making that mistake, they could lose their job. They could, you know what I mean? Those kind
Sometimes
of.
that can fuck you though.
But it never usually did, and I'm being honest, because I've done it a handful of times, and the person I did it for usually smartened up, and that was it. You know what I mean? I was willing to fall on the sword a few times, and I never felt it fucked me too much, to be honest, just in my personal experience.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But sometimes that does. I've had experiences where that does come back and make you go, man, fuck that person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
But
I get what you're
I
saying.
do get what you're saying for
Yeah.
sure, but like I've always like I've had situations where I've been like spiteful at the end of the day, like ugh, I should have never have stuck up for you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I've had more of those than anything, especially like when I was a manager.
Yeah, no,
thinking like, man, I stuck up for you. Now look at you, you're not even showing up to work.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I would say for me, for sure, like everything we said about a leader, I agree with. Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing I don't disagree with what we just said.
Yeah.
So that's my answer. That's pretty much what you guys say.
Yeah, I mean, we've had this conversation where I know when we had a guy at our work that we thought was retiring, and one of our friends was like, "Oh, you should fill that spot. You should fill that spot." And I was like, "Nah, because I don't want to be you guys' manager in some way, shape, or form. You know, like you guys are my friends. It's gonna be a whole different dynamic. You know,
When I worked at Quirk before, and I was the delivery manager, it was tough because my ex was friends with all the delivery drivers. Like, they were all video game nerds and Comic-Con fucking nerds. And all she wanted to go to these things with them, and it was always tough for me because it's like, I don't want these people to think that they're my friend because I'm their boss. And my bonus check at the time, like my bonus check depended on how many invoices got marked as delivered. So when somebody forgot an invoice, I don't want to hear, "Oh, sorry, pal."
Right.
Like, like, no.
Yeah.
There's no
Well-
sorry, pal, you know?
Well, no, that's a great point because I have worked with friends and I've usually been in a manager spot over them. And I'm sure one of them is going to be watching this podcast who could probably attest to it. That I'm very big on separation of that. Like when you hit that clock, man, like
Yeah.
that's it. That's it. This is business now. This is all business.
Like, this,
you know what I
the
mean?
situation I'm in right now, going back to work for Quirk, before the pandemic, I was there for 6 years, and I managed 2 different departments at that time. And now I'm back there as just a regular driver. And there are people there who remember me from, back then. And there are new people who heard, I guess the word went around that I was coming back when everyone saw me at the first meeting. Like, there was a lot of people walking by. I was watching them as they were looking in, like, what's Paul doing here, And a lot of the new guys are coming to me being like, you're not as bad as they make it out to be. And I just tell them, I'm like, you have to understand, that was a different world where I was like, anybody here who doesn't like me is because I was their boss and I would fight with them to do their job.
Yeah.
And if they still have a problem, it's probably because they still suck. You know what I'm saying? Like, plain and simple. Like, there's that one driver I told you won't even look my way.
Do you want to tell that story?
Okay, well, what I say is this, right? So when I was the manager before, like, I had 30 drivers and like 27 of them were freaking these video game anime nerds. Like, they would go LARPing, blah, blah, blah. I had to like create fake profiles on these websites to know when these things were coming around.
Like the LARPing stuff.
All the LARPing and video game stuff, because they would all ask for like the Friday before off.
Okay.
And all of a sudden on a Friday, I'm short for again 16, to 20 drivers. And what they were doing was actually the one kid who I won't name his name. He was the smartest one because he would use his vacation time and he would tell us at least a month in advance when they were coming, and then the rest of them would request the time off like here and there in the weeks leading up. And then there was always one or two dildos that would come in on Wednesday and be like, can I have Friday off? And I'd be like, no, you can't have Friday off. Well, it's Comic-Con. I'm like, I don't care if it's Comic-Con. But
right, yeah.
just long story short, I bullied a lot of them. I'm just going to go out and say it. I bullied a lot of them looking back, but but at the time, like, is it bullying when I'm just calling people out for being dorks and pussies? I don't think so. Like, there was this one kid, right? Wow! Look, right. I'll use a perfect example. This one kid, I don't even care. His name was Ryan. Comes in one day, like, where my desk was, I could see everybody walk in and clock in. Comes in one day in tears. He's 21 years old, lives at home with his mother. I go, what's going on, Ryan? He goes, just living life with depression. And just in front of everybody, I'm like, what the fuck I'm like, dude, you do this job, you go home, your mother makes you fucking dinner and does your laundry, you play video games until it's time to fucking jerk off and go to bed. I'm like, what do you have to be depressed about? I'm like, get a girlfriend and accumulate some fucking debt together, and then we'll talk about suffering from fucking depression. And I said this in front of everybody, and everybody laughed at him. And he fucking left that day because I bullied him. But it's like, dude, I'm like, I'm already there 3 hours before these drivers even show up, and I already see the shit show ahead of me. So I don't want to see this big goof coming in and tears on me suffers from fucking depression. Plain and simple. I mean, did that really, like, would you call that bullying? Would you call that bullying?
I mean,
like, seriously, don't tell me you suffer from depression when I know for a fact after work you go home to the dinner your mother made you and you play video games until it's time to jerk off and go to bed. Don't tell me you suffer from depression. Like, I was fucking saving money to buy a house and me and my, ex, all this fucking shit. Like, we have debt together. Like, that's fucking suffering from depression. You know what I'm saying? Having a stressful job and a stressful home life, that's suffering from motherfucking depression.
I'm not bullying you, but you're a fucking pussy.
But you're a pussy. But even, like, or like one kid, like, he was cranking this music out of his van that just sounded like a child's cartoon show. And I remember being like, whose van is that? Because he wasn't in it. And this kid was like, oh, it's mine. And I just looked at him and I go, do you, like, ever want to get a girlfriend, or do you ever want to get laid ever in your life? I go, what are you listening to? And he told me what it was. I go, dude, that's not the fucking answer. Like, what you're listening to and cranking that was like it's not the answer. And I'm not being like this geezer who's like, what kind of music are you listening to?
Yeah.
It was like, I'm not lying to you. It sounded like a Japanese kid's like sing along. And he was trying to talk to me like that's a normal thing for a man in his early 20s to fucking listen to. Like,
Well, you know what we'll call it? We'll call it healthy bullying.
Yeah, I believe so. Healthy bullying,
Healthy
sure.
bullying.
I could go on. I could
There's
go
a new
with that.
category we've just created over
But
here.
yeah, but nevertheless, like the point I'm trying to make, going back to the question is, yeah, like I'm back in a different world where a lot of people remember me when I was that leader.
Yeah.
Because I led with an iron fist.
Yeah, right.
Like
right.
I really did. Like people, like I talked to people when they were like, yeah, one guy was like, yeah, he was a tyrant, and I was like, I was a tyrant
Yeah.
because I demanded that people did their fucking jobs.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Right.
But,
And that makes a good leader, right? I think so.
that's fine. There's some clips in there. I'm fucking.
I'm sorry.
bringing up.
I didn't mean to go off into that tangent, but like it kind of triggered me, making me
No, that
remember
was a
it.
good story though. That
And
was,
it was like-
just pertain to the question.
Dude, like I had a kid. We hired him to work Mondays and Fridays because those were the busiest delivery days. That's all he had to work, and it was from 9 to 5. The drivers would work mostly from like 7 to 5, but he'd come in and he'd work from 9 to 5. Every Monday and Friday, he came in. He'd go, "Is there a chance I can leave early today?" And one day, his name was I think it was Ed. I went, "Ed," I go, "We hired you to work Mondays and Fridays, and every Monday and Friday, you're asking me to leave early." He went, "Well, I'm just checking." I went, "Don't check." I go, "Don't ever check again. The answer is no.
Yeah.
Don't ever check again."
Yeah.
And I said it like that in front of like everybody, and they were like, "Whoa!" But it's like, don't check. Why are you checking every
Right.
Monday and
Yeah,
Friday
yeah.
if you can leave early when we hired you just to work these 2 fucking days?
Do you know if he had any other jobs?
No, he was just a fucking retard. He was just a fucking retard who somehow was able to fumble his way this far in life to me as somebody I gotta be in charge of. Like, dude, seriously, I would look at people and I go, how did you like get this far? Like, how did you get this far to where you got to me now?
Yeah.
You know, like, how did you not drive off a cliff yet? You know? I'm sure you guys have come across that. I feel like I'm ranting, but I'm sure you guys have come across that. Come on.
You're absolutely right. No, that was fucking funny though.
I'm sorry. I got stoned and triggered right there.
Yeah. Now on Monday they're like, Paul, can we see you
Well,
in the
no,
office?
well, you know what's funny is even that guy Ed doesn't even work there anymore. He didn't last. You know, he got fired before I was even let go from there. You know, it's always the one you can just tell, like you're not going to last here.
No, that is true. You can tell. I mean, even
100%.
at our company, you
Yeah,
can just
no.
tell the people that are going to be like, all right, I'll give you. You got 2 months.
Yeah.
At most, yeah. No, I mean, in the blue collar world in general, which I mean, I've never really worked white collar, so. But you can look at a guy, especially if it's any kind of labor, like actual real labor. You can. I mean, honestly, I'm very rarely wrong. You can look at a guy and be like a week.
Yeah.
A
Oh
week.
yeah, for
You're outta
sure.
here
He's
in a
not going to
week.
last here.
Yeah, and you know.
I've
then you can-
always been right on my predictions. Nobody's
Same,
ever surprised me.
really.
Like, damn, they really came through.
Yeah, no,
You know, like-
no,
Yeah.
it's super rare that
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, when I was the delivery manager for Quirk, it was like for 2.5 years, and just hiring so many drivers, and we had at the time such a fast-paced world. It's a completely different world now, but I could just tell. Like
Yeah.
the second somebody started frowning that they weren't out by 3:30, I'm like, you're not gonna last here, buddy.
Right.
If you think it'd be, I used to say at
Right.
the meeting, I would say at the meeting, expect to leave at 5:30 every day, and if you leave earlier, you'll be happy. But expect to work till 5:30 every day. Plain and simple.
As a real example, just real quick here, because I'm sure we want to get to our next question. but
Yeah,
this-
no big deal.
I'm sorry I started all this.
No, it's all good.
but
That's what it's about.
I plowed for over 20 years, okay? And when I first started plowing, I was plowing at a condominium complex that required a lot of shovelers. And for some, whatever, I was kind of in charge of at the time finding these guys or okaying them or not okaying them to come in and shovel. Now, at the time, I'm talking 20 years ago. It was actually more than that now, more like 25 years ago. It was $20 an hour cash to shovel. That was a good amount of coin.
That's still sick right now.
Right. So, you'd say, all right, so this is what you're going to do, blah, 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 and this is whatever, show them the property, okay, whatever. First snowstorm would come, they'd be like, it's really cold. Really?
Yeah.
You do know that you were shoveling snow, right? Or they would say, hey, my feet are getting really wet, man, and they're wearing like Adidas. And it's like, you didn't realize that snow was frozen water?
Yeah.
Like, where did you think was going to happen? You know what I mean?
When I was in the millwright union, I would see that. I worked in Worcester, and it'd be like the winter. A guy would come up, and he would have like a hoodie and jeans and sneakers, and you'd be
Right.
like, dude, it's February in Worcester.
Right.
Like, what are you doing?
Right.
You know.
Right. No, and then in the summertime, you'd get, oh, it's hot. And it's like, well, it's July. How long have you been alive?
Yeah.
How long have you been alive for that you didn't
Yeah.
realize you were going to sweat out here today? I don't, you know what I mean? So you do come across those people that really do make you wonder how.
Are your guys' trucks AC'd?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Dude, mine
But-
is too. Mine is too.
But I will tell you, the truck that, and he knows because I complain to him all the time, the truck that I had been driving for the last week, the AC kept going out on it. And it's a fucking cab over. So you're sitting on top of the damn engine, and I'm just pouring, dude.
Yeah,
you
that
know
must be
what I
rough.
mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, you get the job done, whereas other guys might not have.
I used to drive a box truck like that.
Yeah,
We had to
right.
Flip the top to fucking,
Right, exactly,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, the exhaust is behind your head. You're sitting on top of the engine with no AC.
Have
and
you ever
90
not?
degree weather.
Have you ever
Fuck
not hooked that correctly and like bumped a little when you went over a bump?
Say that one more time.
Have you ever not locked it tight, like right and like
No,
had it?
luckily, no, that hasn't happened to
Yeah,
me.
Yeah,
I had it happen to me
yeah.
in a box truck. It was fucking it
Ooh,
was scary.
how's
But
that?
We pulled over immediately, but
Yeah,
like
right, yeah.
it was just like, you know, construction work
Right.
on the highway.
Yeah.
It was like da-doom, da-doom, da-doom. We looked at each other like, whoa. Fucking, we were shit-faced, but fucking.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
very
we were
good.
coming from a strip club. Like I had just fucking. It was funny. I pulled a prank on him. I pulled over so he can take a leak, and he leaned up on the side of the box truck. Then when he started to take a piss, I gassed it and fucking drove. So he was just standing there with his dick out. It was so fucking funny. I was laughing so hard I thought I was gonna crash because I was like cramping while I was driving. He was so fucking pissed.
That's funny.
Whose turn is it for a question?
Yours.
Mine?
Yeah.
Okay. You are forced to take a cold weather vacation. Where do you go? Oh, I'll pick Antarctica. Send me to the coldest.
I would just say Alaska. Is Utah cold?
It can be, yeah, it's the mountains.
Yeah, I'd go Utah.
Wait, but like cold compared to what? Utah? Like what does the temp drop to in Utah?
Up in the mountains, I'm sure it gets pretty damn cold. Salt Lake City's in the valley, so.
Oh yeah, no, and you can ski in Utah.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say send me to Antarctica. Wherever those people are camping, put me in that little tank for a week. I'm down. Let's see what's up.
Or Alaska. Alaska would be fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
I feel
I
like-
was actually going to say Alaska.
Yeah, I feel like by the Arctic what is that? The Arctic Ring or something?
Yeah. I don't know if I go that far north.
You wouldn't want to go like I would want to go. I like that audiobook I listened to about that guy who fucking he was a criminal on the run, but he lived in a like by the Arctic Circle where it was like they had a rule in the town where like you have to answer the door if somebody's banging on it because it's just a constant snowstorm.
Yeah.
Like you have to let people in. Like I would want to live there for like a week.
Yeah.
Like they had like they were it's just a town full of drunks. They had a rule where well not a rule but they had a saying where like when they would twist off the bottle of booze they just threw it in the trash because they were drinking the whole thing.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Remember that book I told you where the guy fucking shot his went crazy and like shot his mom and then he dipped off into Alaska and then he shot those campers and he said that like oh no I was captured by these fucking mystical beings.
Oh yeah.
And because they were like, how did you get? Because after they called him, they're like, how did you get from here to here so fast? And he was like, I fucking stumbled upon this like mystical creature that all the people in the town knew about, and he was like, they showed me a pathway that cut right through all this. Yeah.
You know, that would be a good episode. So like, have you know the Mr. Ballin? You know who Mr. Ballin is?
No, I don't think
He
so.
tells all these fucked up stories about that, like how people will just fucking just disappear into the woods, like literally just fucking vanish.
Did you ever see Missing 411?
That's what it is. Yeah, he
Okay,
tells
yeah,
those
yeah.
stories
Those are
and
fucking
like
crazy.
the people that they do find, like a little 3-year-old kid will be like, the cat people brought me here, and they're like, what do you mean the fucking cat people
Yeah.
brought you here? What does that mean?
Yeah.
There is some weird shit out there.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt about it. You know what I mean? I think Alaska. I go with Alaska.
Yeah.
I go with
So what,
Alaska.
you
But
go on
I'd want-
Antarctica?
You know, or by the
That's
Arctic,
insane.
or by that Arctic ring. I'd want to like sleep at one of those Eskimos' houses for like a week. Just drink with them.
Yeah.
Tell me all about your shit while we watch the snowfall. You know.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. All right, I'll go with this one. If you could end cigarette smoking by releasing a pathogen that would kill every tobacco plant in the world, would you? And there's a second part to this question too.
Yeah, I'd just say no because of the second part of the question. No.
Because it would kill every tobacco plant?
No, like, what is the thing I'm releasing?
A pathogen.
What is that?
A pathogen, call it like a gas or something along
A
those
disease
lines.
almost.
What else?
Yeah.
Like, what else is that going to affect?
No, just the tobacco
Oh, just
plant.
the tobacco plant? No, I wouldn't do it.
No.
Now, all right, let's be clear. I'm not saying that because I occasionally, well, not occasionally, that's a lie. Because I smoke, I'm not saying it because of that, but I mean,
do smoke?
I do.
Oh, bro.
I know.
That's every conversation between two people who one finds out the other one smokes. Oh, dude. Oh, I know. Okay.
But, I mean, you'd have a lot of very pissed off people really quick. Like, you know what I mean? What are you
Well,
gonna
we
do
used
with
to. I mean, not to interrupt, but we used tobacco plants for more than just fucking
Oh,
cigarettes
well, yeah.
anyway, right? So like,
Yeah.
we'd be eliminating. What else did we use at tobacco plants?
No idea.
I don't either. Like, do they make fucking rope or something?
Well, that's hemp you're thinking of, I think.
Okay. Well, I would still say no.
Yeah.
I would just say yes. That way I could go up to everybody that smokes cigarettes and be like, it was me. It was me.
But what about cigars? That's the same tobacco.
It is.
Yeah, but I can go without cigars. I mean, I smoke cigars sometimes, but I don't give a shit.
I would. Yeah, I guess I'd go no.
Okay. Well, we kind of answered the second part, so
Oh, okay.
that's it. Yeah, it's what would most trouble you about it.
Oh. I mean, there would be outrage for sure, but I feel like every cigarette smoker they'd start rolling up like dry leaves or something. They would start smoking
Yeah, let's
something
smoke
else.
something else. Probably people would just start like smoking
Cloves
pot or something.
yeah,
cloves.
You know, like,
Yeah, I could see pot intake going up by about 300%.
or even
Yeah.
cloves.
Yeah,
Like,
cloves,
any
cloves, yeah.
alternative or like vaping.
Yeah.
They're gonna do something.
Remember when I used to smoke cloves when I was like fucking...
Yeah, I think we all tried it when we were kids.
13
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
We all tried it when we were kids.
Yeah.
You know.
I did it too.
Yeah, cloves and menthol cigarettes just didn't stick with me
Yeah.
when I was a kid. I liked regular Marlboros or like Camel. Filtered Camels, not fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had an unfiltered Camel once, and that was not a good decision.
We used to steal my friend's dad, my friend Ralph, actually, the one that fucking I ate his fish.
Poor Ralph.
Well, his dad fucking, he had one of those dads that was like 80 years old. He was in like fucking World War One.
Yeah.
And
Jesus.
the way it looked like his dad and mom was like he was a soldier somewhere else and just got the Spanish woman pregnant with a couple kids, and they were divorced, like, you know. But his dad used to smoke Winston non-filters, and we used to steal those from him.
Wow.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
Yeah,
but
it is
we would
gross.
smoke when we were kids. You know.
That is gross.
Whose question is it?
Mike.
All right. This book is less impressive, but you know what? Good. You know what? I'm
I feel
actually.
like mine has good questions.
How do you know if you should trust someone? Hold on. And I'm just going to read the two follow-ups. Did you ever have to learn the hard way? And the second follow-up is, how much trust do you give someone by default? So,
So how much trust do I give someone by default?
well, that's kind of like the follow-up. How do you know if you trust someone would be the main question.
Okay. Well, if I can say, I mean, right away, I'm not saying I don't trust anybody, but right away, I always take people for what they are and then I'll assess right away, but I don't fully trust anybody right away.
Yeah.
Nobody
neither
really
do I,
should.
yeah,
Nobody
yeah.
really should.
Yeah, I think it's insane if you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I don't know, but I just trust you.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
what?
I'm a pretty good judge of character, I feel.
Yeah.
And I can always kind of pick them out. You know, I mean, a big red flag for me is if they have just like, if someone, this actually happened to Mandy, when you just meet somebody, right? And all of a sudden they're telling you about like, oh yeah, well, my mother,
Their whole
beat
life.
me.
Their life
Yeah, it's like
story.
their whole life. It's like,
Huge
okay.
red flag.
Because
Yeah.
what they're doing is they're trying to tell you that, hey, you know how many people have stabbed me in the back, you know, like shit
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
trying to tell you, I trust you so much. We're great friends already.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas
Yeah, that's
I'm
a great
like,
point.
don't tell me this. I don't care.
Right.
I was on
I mean,
I was
shit,
on a
you
date
told
one
me you
time
were
and
a
a girl did
Jehovah's
that.
Witness like 3 months ago, and we talk every day
For well
for
over a
like
year.
well over a year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean,
Was.
was. But but yeah, stuff like that where people are telling you their life story. Oh, you know how many people have stabbed me in the back? And, oh, my
Right.
best friend stabbed me in the back. It's like,
Yeah.
first of all, they were never best friends with you. You probably thought you were best
Right.
friends with them.
Right.
You know, so that's like a big red flag for me
That's
when someone
right.
overshares right off the
Right
bat.
off the bat. You know who
You
does
know.
that a lot are people from. Okay, let me stop myself from saying that. People that tend to do that a lot are drug addicts.
Yep.
Okay, and they will overshare immediately with you. I will say that a company I worked for used a temp agency a lot. And I'm not saying all people that go through temp agencies are drug addicts, so be careful there. But a lot of drug addicts go through temp agencies.
Yep.
Okay, and these guys would be in the truck with you for 20 minutes, and you would know
You can
way
just tell,
more.
yeah.
And it's like, yeah, so that's oversharing is a huge
Yeah.
red flag, a huge
Yeah.
red flag. Have you ever had to learn the hard way on trusting someone too quick? Because I know I have. I've had a couple of those.
Not trusting somebody too quick, for sure.
Okay.
No. Not like as far as...
Not even in your younger years, being like, "Oh, Joey seems cool. I can trust him." You're a kid, kind of.
You know what? Maybe there were a couple times like giving people money to get me drugs and they never came back.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
I can
Okay.
say
Say
that.
so.
Yeah, so that's a trust, right? I give,
Yeah.
I give the kid
Agreed.
$80.
Yeah. Right. Sure.
So other than that, but no, I mean, I don't know. At a young age, I knew not to take people for face value.
Same.
You
Same.
know? So-
Yeah. What about you?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything other than just like people owing me money that I thought
We're friends,
were
right?
friends, or they
Yeah.
were always wicked cool. And I'd always tell people like, dude, I don't lend people money. And they're like, dude, like, come on, you know me for this.
Yeah.
And then I'd loan them $80, and then I'd never fucking see them again.
Right.
Yeah.
But
And
you
I'd
know
be like,
what?
you fucking piece of shit.
Yeah,
It's
stuff
in
like
the-
that sucks.
It's in the Bronx Tale, right? You guys have both seen the Bronx Tale.
I saw it once
Really, that's great.
when I was a
movie.
child, too.
But the one guy's really pissed off because his buddy owes him $20, right? And he keeps wanting to beat up the kid because he owes him the $20 and won't give it to him. And now the guy, what are you getting upset for? You got this guy out of your life for $20. That's cheap. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You-
yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
You
no, that's
know?
true too. Yeah.
So
Good way to look at it.
Yeah, it is.
But it
It
does
honestly
suck to
is.
get burnt like that.
It does.
It
It
does.
does.
Yeah.
Come on.
but
Nothing's worth to get ripped off money by somebody that you thought was your friend and they weren't.
Well, I've had it kind of, I think, worse than money. I mean, I'm not going to put his name out there, but there was somebody that I thought was a very good friend of mine. And I took him into my home, and he wound up trying multiple times to sleep with my girlfriend
Jesus
at the
Christ.
time.
Wow.
You know what
That's
I mean?
fucked up.
Yeah, now she is a very dear friend of mine still, but she told me about this after he moved out because she was afraid I was going to murder him. And she never did anything or anything like that. But I would go to work, and this kid was constantly trying to see what he could get away with her. You know what I mean? And this was somebody that I had known for a while. So you ever get burned by somebody, not money-wise, but just in another way by somebody you did trust after a long period of time?
Dude, when I moved out of my parents' house, I was 21, and I remember lending a friend like $180
Yeah.
and leaving a message on his phone because he wasn't even like answering me, being like, hey, like, I don't think you understand, like, this isn't you owe me $180 and I live at home with my mom. I'm like, you're taking away from my food and my rent. I'm like, I'm coming to get my money if you
Yeah,
don't,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and I
That is a
ended up
much
having to
bigger
come
deal.
and get it too.
Yeah.
But like, it was funny as a kid. That was a realization to me. Like, holy shit, like, this is cutting into like him, like me not being able to get food this week
Right.
because he told
Right.
me he'd have the money on Tuesday and it's now Friday.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Yeah.
it's wild.
Yeah, I would say I used to have a friend. I'm not friends with him anymore. But like, if you broke up with your girlfriend on Tuesday, he was trying to hook up with her on Wednesday.
Right.
That's fucked up.
You know, and fucking
Well, even you had that dipshit friend that was checking out your friend's girlfriend when
That
always
too.
behind. Like, and
Yeah,
I used to
yeah.
point it out to him, like, how are you friends with this fucking asshole?
yeah.
Money and women seem to be the two things
That's the
that
two things.
really divide up friendships real
Yeah.
quick. You know what I mean?
I had this. I'll tell this story. This one kid, I gave him money for some drugs. Fucking gave me some fake drugs, and I was like, this is fucking, oh, the guy burned me. I'm like, all right, well, you owe me the money now. So, long story short, well, what ended up happening was there was one occasion where he's like, dude, I can get you some money. Can you just drive me to this place and I'll get you the money? And I'm like, all right, cool. So I drove into this place. He comes back. Oh, no, dude, sorry, it didn't work out, man. Sorry. So I drove him back to his house, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I put it together. I go, oh, and by that time, he's kind of nodding off. I'm like, oh, he's just using me to go buy heroin right now.
Oh my God!
Right?
Christ.
So the second time he does it,
You should have
right?
opened the door while you were driving and just let him fall out. Been like,
The
fucking see ya.
Yeah. So the second time he does it, right? He left his cell phone at his house, right? But he knows he's meeting this kid at this time at this place in Kingston, right? And we were about halfway to Kingston, and I just looked. Yeah, I'm driving. I just looked at him. I go, hey, yeah, fuck. What was his name? It was just like one letter. His name was Q. And I was like, hey, just so you know, if when we go to this place and you don't have my money, I'm fucking leaving you there. Right? So I just saw immediately, he just goes, fuck. Right? He puts his head in his lap for the rest of the car ride.
Yeah.
We get to the place. He goes somewhere. I'm just waiting, eating McDonald's. He comes back. He comes back to my window. Dude, you would have thought fucking someone was shooting at him. He's like, dude, don't fucking leave me. Dude, I don't have anything. But we go back to my house, dude. I'll give you whatever the fuck you want. Like, don't fucking leave me here. Don't leave me. So I ended up fucking leaving there with like his fucking PlayStation and fucking a pair of shoes and a bunch of shit.
That's wild.
Yeah, so fuck that kid. And I remember we were with one of our brothers, because I ended up having to pick him up after all that stuff happened. And so when I drove back to get all the stuff from this kid, he's loading up my car with like PlayStations and shoes and fucking flat brims, and fucking Nico's like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, who are you? Yeah. That's awesome. So I guess it's safe to say we've all learned the hard way, right?
Yeah. No, I definitely. Yeah. I don't think there's anybody over a certain age that hasn't learned the hard way at least once.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
With trust, I think you have to.
Agreed.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, we'll get one more question in, and then we'll end it on this.
You are gifted enough money to build a vacation home anywhere you want, but it becomes the only place you can vacation from now on. Where would you build it?
Oh.
Fuck.
It's the only place you can vacation from now on.
Brazil.
Why?
Nice beaches, and I can go into the rainforest, and there's probably a shitload of stuff in the rainforest that I can keep myself occupied with.
But how much does that cost? Like, you got to think of that too. It's the only place you're going to go for every single vacation.
Well, how much? What is the question?
You build a. You are gifted enough money to build a vacation home anywhere you want, but it becomes the only place you can vacation from now on.
Yeah.
Where do you build it?
Yeah, Brazil. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then
'Cause I'm
that's
gifted enough money to build whatever I want, right?
Yeah. Okay, but you still got to like fly there and fly back, and there's all that.
Oh, maybe I just live there year round. Does that count?
So then that wouldn't be a vacation home.
yeah.
That'd be where you lived.
Yeah. I'd probably still go Brazil.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I would go. I don't know. Whatever one of the southern states has weed legal, and yeah, that would be it.
Do any of the southern states have legal weed? I
I
don't think so.
I don't think so.
No, I think
California?
no. Some of them have medical, I think, but not legal for adults. Like
I know Florida's got medical.
does it? I didn't even think it had medical.
Yeah, it's got
Kentucky
medical.
has medical.
Well, Arizona. It's legal in Arizona now that I think about it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Filthy. Shit.
I think it's legal in Alabama.
I don't know.
Sicily.
That's a good one.
Okay. But isn't okay? Yeah, no, Sicily's good. I'm just thinking of like, where can I drive to, where it's gonna be hot?
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking.
No,
of
I
like,
understand I'd have to fly there and everything, but I mean, between the food and the, There's nothing in the question that says I can't take a boat up the Mediterranean to see Croatia, Greece,
Yeah,
or
no,
any of those
yeah.
other inland area, coastal countries.
No, that
So I
is
think-
very cool.
Yeah.
You can get a house in Italy, like in a rural part of Italy, real nice in the mountains near the beach and
Yeah,
stuff.
but you ever
for like
see
70 grand.
Yeah, but you ever see what those beaches look like?
I mean, I guess it depends on what beach you go to. It's
I've
a big
seen
peninsula
I've seen a lot of disgusting looking beaches.
in Italy.
But yeah, with like trash and shit.
Oh well, I don't know. Maybe
In
I
Sicily.
wouldn't go
I
to
don't
that
know.
beach.
I've just
I
seen
can
like
see northern Italy having a little bit of.
I've just
I
seen
don't
beaches
know,
of
but-
like beaches in Italy, like all the trash they have and
Yeah, I
shit.
could see like northern Italy, like for instance, like Venice, because they like live on the water. I could see that just everywhere around there for a certain amount of miles, just being fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are pissing and shitting in that water, throwing whatever they want in that water.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
That's-
I would
They'll
never
be
want-
underwater pretty soon.
Yeah, yeah, it will be. It's slowly sinking. So
Yeah, that's what
Fuck
I've
them.
seen. Fucking wild.
Yeah, it is.
But, all right, on that,
Sweet.
fucking, we made it this far. Thank you. If not, go fuck yourself.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.